What kind of places do you go to get yourself in the mood to do some creative art?
I like watching the sea, the waves come in from the sea, or a river.
You get outdoors in nature.
Definitely.
Yeah, me too.
How do you find your energies change when you're in nature?
Well, I find my energy changes when I just get out the house. But then I've got really places that I love to come to, landscapes that I love to come to, that also really help me to get a bit more energy shifted around a bit if I'm feeling a bit stuck, or if I've left it a bit late in the day and it's feeling like, you know, I'm losing the day and I'm not going to be able to do anything. I just love to come somewhere like this. It just takes you out of yourself straight away, doesn't it? And there's so much going on here. We've got the waves, we've got people dog walking. You can either sit, or I really often, I don't know if you do this as well, but I go for a walk most of the time before I sit at my desk. And I find that a little bit of movement really helps me sort of expend a bit of physical energy with my body, and somehow I get more into my senses.
It wakens up all parts of you, doesn't it?
I'm content deep within myself. This light, this day, this horizon stretches in endless possibility, come what may. I'm awake, deep within myself, relax in the sun's great warmth, bright days of joy and feeling small in a wider world. I'm free deep within myself, unhurried by sunset's weight of sky, to travel up and down life's hills and grounded fields. I'm resting deep within myself, shaped by wild storms, tides, ebbs and floods. I am all elements, and I am stillness. We're going to get our pads out and pens and stuff, aren't we, and do a bit of art? Oopsie. Are we going to try and do the sea?
Yeah, shall we?
Yeah. It's going to be quite tricky, isn't it? To get an exact sea. Do I just try and...
Trying to draw the sea is, really difficult.
Is it just the feeling of sea that I'm trying to get? Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
So we're going to try and just very loosely capture some of the movement of the sea using water and inks. Inks are quite nice for water because they got a lot of flow to them. Like watercolor would work really well as well. And you can just use a pencil. Well, we thought we'd try using some inks today for a change. So just get a little bit of water on your brush, and then a little bit of that. And like we said, just kind of get quite meditative and don't worry about it too much. It's not going to be the same colour. So to be quite loose as well, I'm holding my brush quite high up.
Okay.
So if you try drawing really far down your brush, it's quite tense.
Yeah.
Whereas if you hold the brush quite high up,
yeah,
you kind of have less control.
So
the movement is sort of.
Do you know what? It's really similar with writing, that you have to relax and kind of just surrender to the process quite quickly in order to let it happen.
This is nowhere near a finished piece of anything. It's just...
I was going to ask you about that. It's that temptation to want everything to be perfect, isn't it? Even on your first draft of a poem or something, when you expect it's just going to pop out and be perfect without any editing. And of course that very rarely happens. It does occasionally, but it's like actually just having some fun sometimes is the best way to relax. So Sarah, I often ask people when they're doing kind of writing exercises, if they had to give their piece a mood or an atmosphere, how they would kind of sum up what they're doing. What do you think the mood of your sea today?
So we're sat here listening to the waves and watching the waves and the sea moving in and out, and try to respond to that with in our artwork using inks, so because they're water soluble, it's quite a nice medium to use to capture movement.
We wanted to come somewhere where there was going to be a lot of elemental kind of movement around us to kind of stir up our energy, to talk a bit about what it feels like to come to different places, to outdoors, to kind of get your energy up so that you can feel into different ways of getting creative. And I really felt that when we were doing our quite just sort of the essence of the sea kind of gestural drawing. So it's just the energy of the sea that we're trying to capture, not the exact sea.
And sometimes how you're feeling can come out in the page as well. If you're feeling quite calm, or if you're feeling quite angry, you can be a lot of energy. That can sometimes, that's quite interesting to then reflect on, isn't it? See if you lose yourself in the moment.
Yeah, doing art or writing is quite, you're sort of static when you're doing it in some ways, but there's a lot going on and it's pretty intense. So there's a lot of energy there moving around, isn't there? And feeding into the page. So it's just been really interesting to come outside with this constant and most beautiful sound and all of our senses kind of alive and awake while we're doing it. So yeah. Movement is energy flow, the breath of life, seasons, cycles, and even in stillness, being present, awake. Movement is process, body and nature and planet, all alive together in one moment.